I lost 200,000 yuan in one night and didn't cry. But when I wanted to spend 60 yuan to buy my mom a piece of clothing, I broke down. She thought it was too expensive. Even a 60 yuan shirt was too much for her. She told me to save the money for when I get married. My heart hurts so much right now. I feel like I'm nothing.
In the past few years, China's economy has gotten worse. Many people can't even find jobs. But life goes on, so what can they do? Some people take risks, hoping that gambling will turn their lives around overnight and bring them financial freedom. But the reality is cruel. It quickly teaches those looking for a shortcut a harsh lesson.
I gave you 3,000 yuan so you can try to win back some money. If you win, you pay me back. If you lose, just write me an IOU. Deal?
This is a TikToker who helps gamblers from mainland China return home after losing everything in Macau. With their consent, he shares these videos online to raise awareness.
You watch my live streams, right? I'll be recording everything.
Sure.
Where are you from?
Jiangxi.
How long have you been here?
I just arrived today.
How old are you?
43.
Have you been here before?
This is my second time.
Are you ready to go home? I can take you across the border.
I haven't eaten yet.
All right, I'll take you after you eat.
Last time, didn't you say you'd give me 1,000 yuan so I could get a ticket home?
I never said I'd just give you 1,000 yuan. I only cover the cost of your ticket home. You can't just ask for money and expect to get it. If I help you, you have to leave.
I only got here yesterday. I want to stay another day or two. It wasn't easy for me to come here.
You can't even afford a meal. What's the point of staying?
I just want to stay one more day. I'll leave tomorrow.
You're completely broke and you still want to stay. How much did you lose?
The gambler said he brought over 60,000 yuan and lost it all. But he still hasn't given up. He wants to borrow 3,000 yuan to try again, promising to pay it back. The TikToker tells him, "Why should I believe that you'll pay me back? Can you even find someone willing to lend you money?" The gambler admits no one will lend to him anymore. No one even picks up his calls. The gambler graduated from Nanchang University, a prestigious school with a degree in civil engineering. He used to work for a construction company drawing blueprints, earning a decent income. But on a trip to Macau with colleagues, he got introduced to gambling and became addicted. In the end, he lost everything: his savings, his home, and even his family. After much persuasion, he finally agreed to leave Macau the next day. Most gamblers start small, just testing their luck. But the more they gamble, the more they lose, and the more they lose, the more they want to win it back. Even when they manage to win a little, it only pushes them to place bigger bets, until eventually they lose everything. Some people go as far as mortgaging their homes. Others take out high-interest loans. In the end, they can't even go home, and even affording a meal becomes a struggle. What's even more shocking is that gambling addiction has spread to rural areas, with elderly people getting hooked. Mahjong halls and underground casinos are filled with people desperate to win back their losses. In mainland China, gambling is officially banned, yet mahjong parlors and gambling rooms can be found everywhere, even within residential communities. Online gambling is even worse. It's widespread and easily accessible. The Chinese Communist Party has made every effort to ensure people have access to gambling. A netizen asked a migrant worker, "Do you survive on daily wages?" The worker replied, "Yeah, pretty much. As long as I don't starve, it's fine." He said he can only take care of himself now. The netizen then asked, "Given your situation, do you still gamble?" The worker's answer was unexpected. "Of course. I'm actually thinking about gambling right now." He explained that as a single man, he has to gamble because it gives him hope. Without it, he would just work himself to death every day for just 200 yuan. When asked if he had lost all his money, he admitted, "Yeah, pretty much all gone." A man barely making ends meet on daily wages still dreams of striking it rich through gambling. Others, drowning in debt, hope that buying lottery tickets will turn their lives around. "I had another fight with my husband. He's been buying lottery tickets online again, spending over 1,000 yuan every month. Our financial situation is already terrible. We still have loans to pay off, and we're deep in debt from our home renovation. My father-in-law works outside, carrying heavy loads of sand for a living. It's exhausting, and he earns just over 100 yuan a day. He barely spends any money on food or clothes. My mother-in-law is also extremely frugal. Today, they went to get injections at the hospital, but they wouldn't even buy themselves a bowl of noodles. My father-in-law sometimes walks long distances just to save 2 yuan on bus fare. But my husband spends a fortune on lottery tickets. To others, this amount of money might not seem like much, but to me, it's unbearable." The Chinese obsession with gambling is beyond what many can imagine. In China, you can bet on almost anything, and gambling takes on countless forms, more than anywhere else in the world. A bullfighting event took place on December 14, 2024, in Yunnan. Two champion bulls fought fiercely, with neither backing down. In the end, the black bull broke one of the red bull's horns and chased it off. The red bull's owner, furious over the loss, rushed into the arena and launched a flying knee strike at the black bull's owner. Chaos erupted, and multiple people started fighting. The red bull's owner was injured and had to be carried to the hospital. Later, it was revealed that this bullfight was linked to gambling. In fact, many bullfighting events in Yunnan involve betting, but this particular one made the news because of the mass brawl. With gambling scams and illegal betting running rampant in China, some organizations and volunteers work to help people quit. Meanwhile, gambling experts have stepped forward to expose common scams, hoping to wake up those trapped in addiction.
The gambling expert, known as King of Gamblers, asks, "This deck is brand new, right?" The other person confirms, "Yes, brand new. We made this deck ourselves. Should I shuffle? Can cheating still happen?" The expert responds, "I don't even need to move much to pull off a trick." After shuffling, the person says, "I've shuffled thoroughly." The expert remains confident. No matter how much you shuffle, it won't matter. Cut the deck however you like. The person cuts the deck. The expert continues, "Now watch closely as I deal the cards." He deals them slowly and then asks, "Look at this. 3 queens. Would you bet on this hand?"
At this point, the camera slows down to 1,000 frames per second, yet it's still hard to catch the trick. In reality, the secret expertly switches a card from the middle of the deck while dealing. Only an overhead slow-motion shot reveals the sleight of hand. The expert flips over his own cards, 3 aces, beating the other hand completely. His final words, "The only way to win is to not gamble."
Next is another video showing an expert trying to dissuade a gambler to give up his addiction.
What game are you losing money on?
3-card poker.
These are your cards?
Yes.
You want to quit gambling?
Yes, I do.
How much have you lost?
Tens of millions.
How much?
Tens of millions.
What do you do for a living to lose that much?
I run a coal mine.
This deck is yours. Any problem if I shuffle like this?
No problem.
The expert then deals 5 sets of cards and flips over his own. It's a royal flush, the highest possible hand. He asks,
Any cheating?
There is, but I can't see how you did it.
the expert then offers to show the trick more clearly.
See, my hands are empty, right?
Yes.
Watch closely as I shuffle. Look here. The card appears. What hand is this?
A pair of 9s and an 8.
That's not a strong hand, right?
No, not really.
Right in front of him, the expert folds the 3 cards together, then slowly opens them again. The pair of 9s and an 8 have transformed into 3 9s.
Now, is this a strong hand? Will you still gamble?
No more. I won't gamble anymore.
Professional gamblers and casino experts warn that gambling is full of deception. Cheating is everywhere. In online gambling, it's even easier to manipulate outcomes. Players can't even see a real dealer, and the platform can control results entirely through its back-end system. I used to be a gambling addict. I was hooked on online gambling for 6 years. Over that time, I confessed my addiction 5 or 6 times. In total, I lost more than 1 million yuan and went into debt for over 600,000 yuan. I once had everything, a good family, a husband, and 2 beautiful daughters. But ever since I started gambling, my home fell apart. Now I'm all alone, with no one to rely on. I kept quitting, but I always relapsed. Now, if I asked someone for just 10 yuan, no one would lend it to me. I don't even have a friend to talk to. If I posted something extreme on social media, like saying I wanted to end it all, no one would comment, and no one would check up on me. I finally understand. This is the fate of a gambler. People ask me why I don't just go home. Do you know how many times I've disappointed my family? I have no face left to go back. I once tried to quit gambling. I lasted 6 months, but then I relapsed again. I remember one time I got down on my knees begging my husband. I held a glass bottle to my neck, pleading for just one last chance to win back my losses. I swore I'd quit after that, but now, no matter how much I beg, it's useless. I deeply regret everything. I feel like I'm beyond saving. Gambling is terrifying. It made me lie to people over and over again, until lying became second nature. I never wanted to be like this. I used to be a different person. I just hope that this time I can really quit. I hope my family will see that I've changed. No matter how much regular people gamble, it's nothing compared to the gambling habits of Chinese Communist Party officials. Take China's national soccer team as an example. The corruption in match fixing and illegal betting has reached shocking levels. In 2021, during the second Hainan Champions Cup, a match between Shenhe Shou FC and Haida Alumni FC was tied 2-2 in the 89th minute. Normally, this would be the most intense moment of the game, but instead, both teams seemed desperate to lose. In a bizarre turn of events, a Shenhe Shou player, under no pressure from the opposing team, kicked the ball straight into his own goal. It should have given Haida Alumni FC the win, but then, in an equally absurd move, Haida Alumni FC responded by kicking the ball into their own goal as well. The crowd was left in stunned silence. It was clear both teams had been involved in match fixing, deliberately trying to lose for gambling purposes. Match fixing and corruption are so common in Chinese soccer that they no longer surprise anyone. Even when China qualified for the World Cup for the first and only time, there were still instances of intentionally throwing matches. A well-known TV host once interviewed the Chinese national soccer team and sarcastically asked, "Why do you always kick the ball into your own net? Is it because it's closer, or because you have friends on that side?" In 2024, over 100 officials, coaches, and players, including former national team coach Li Tie, were arrested on charges of bribery, match fixing, running illegal gambling operations, and other related crimes. Nearly the entire leadership and key players of Chinese soccer were taken down. One of the biggest scandals in Chinese soccer history happened on June 15, 2013, during a friendly match between China and Thailand's under-23 team in Hefei. China suffered a humiliating 1-5 defeat, a historic low for the national team. Before the match, European bookmakers had set the odds at 1.34 for a Chinese victory and 7.95 for Thailand. However, the game took an unexpected turn. Just 10 minutes into the match, with China trailing 0-1, professional gamblers sensed something was off. Major betting companies quickly stopped taking bets on the match, an extremely rare move. The next day, a Weibo user leaked insider information. Despite suspending bets in time, European bookmakers still lost nearly 30 billion yuan to Chinese agents. One CEO even called it a blatant scam, where gamblers directly manipulated the match result. After this, some betting companies announced they would no longer offer odds on Chinese soccer matches. Ordinary gamblers in China pale in comparison to the extravagant bets placed by CCP officials. A well-known story involves Deng Zhifang, the youngest son of former CCP leader Deng Xiaoping. In one night at Macau's Lisboa casino, he reportedly lost 190 million yuan. Macau's chief executive at the time, Ho Haohua, knew Deng might refuse to pay, so he hosted him for 3 days, refusing to let him leave. Finally, Shougang Group, a state-owned steel company, wired $50 million to a French bank, which then transferred it to Macau. Only then was Deng allowed to return to Beijing. Since the 1980s, China's elite families have used state-owned enterprises and foreign trade firms to move massive amounts of wealth overseas. In previous years, Swiss banks admitted that just 100 Chinese clients held a combined $1.2 trillion in deposits. At the time, CCP Foreign Ministry spokesperson Hua Chunying responded, "We urge Switzerland to be cautious. Publicizing such financial data could have serious consequences. If they harm the interests of certain customers or nations, they must bear full responsibility." With China's economy in decline, CCP officials are no longer gambling openly overseas. Macau's most profitable VIP rooms, favored by CCP elites, are now eerily empty. For years, overseas gambling was a key way for local CCP officials and organized crime groups to launder money. They would deliberately lose large sums at casinos, allowing the gambling industry to move their wealth to third-party countries, taking a 10% cut as commission. But while high-rolling Chinese gamblers in Macau have dwindled, domestic gambling addiction has only grown stronger. Many struggling working-class citizens see no hope in hard work and turn to gambling as an escape. Under CCP rule, China's legal system is broken, and morality has collapsed. What should be a simple game of entertainment often turns into a life-or-death struggle. Many gamble their futures away without realizing it. But gambling is extremely dangerous, especially in China, where it's often a one-way road with no return. Maybe the best advice comes from those who have lost everything. The only way to win is to not gamble at all.